right, everyone. Welcome back to another season of Talk 122. I am your Superintendent Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. This is year 5, the 5th season. So really excited to kick things off. And with that, we have an exciting episode with some students and our music, our teacher as well. So before we get started into some questioning and things like that, with my first guest, will you introduce yourself, your name, and your grade?
My name is Sierra Van Laeke, and I am a junior.
Okay, all right. And so thinking about your time here at Harlem, before we get into the questions about Foreigner and things like that, what do you love about Harlem? Just give me some.
I love everything.
Yes.
Everything is amazing.
Already off to a good start.
The teachers, classes, all the educating stuff. Education is just really important, and it's so fun to just, the education is so fun to do.
Okay.
And teachers are very nice, and I loved going into the music department, and that was one thing that really made high school year just be awesome. Yeah.
That's good to hear. I'm glad. And so when you think about the opportunity to sing, right, with Foreigner, how did that come about?
When we first did it, the audition to actually do it, I was just so excited, and I was just wondering if we'd get voted to do it, and we did. And
I know I was voting.
Yeah, I know. I was doing it over and over again, and when we got in, I just felt so happy, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge.
Okay.
I've never done this before.
Okay.
And yeah, I just know that I'm gonna remember it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So and that's great. And so there was that anticipation of the voting process, right? And then when you got picked to perform, I'm sure that was exciting. And so now the performance, though, tell me a little bit about how that came together. Because when I saw it, online, right? Someone had sent it to me and everything, and I saw how that was coming together, and that was exciting. And I was like, I wonder how the kids are feeling, right now. And so kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was on stage and just seeing, and I've researched them and how long they've done music, and I was like, wow, this is they've done it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing them, I was like, it was just such an amazing experience. Seeing the audience too,
right.
How so many people were there was just amazing. And
so I gotta ask you real quick, did you know anything about them beforehand?
Yes.
You did? Okay. So, and did you know the song beforehand that you guys performed?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. So that doesn't make me feel too old then.
Yeah. No, my mom is an 80s person.
Yep.
So I've heard a lot, and she's played a lot for me. And she's like, you have to learn everything. I was like, okay.
Gotcha. So now how long did it take you all to learn the song and your parts that you were going to sing with them and harmonize with them?
Not too long.
Okay.
I think that we learned it really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we all had, we just had to stay in unison for some parts, and that was very easy and took little time.
Okay. Anything you want to share with the community on your experience, or if someone, in your position wants to do that one day and sing with, say, a Foreigner?
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit.
Just, my opinion is just to get yourself out there.
Okay.
I've done so many things to do it, and many people have helped me accomplish it, and you just have to get yourself out there and tell people how you want to do this stuff, and they'll be like, okay, we'll help you. Okay. So there's just the certain people too you have to find, and it's very easy. So,
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being on. I just wanted to get your perspective and your experience on it, and I'm glad you had a really good time, with it. And so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, welcome back. Okay, so can you tell the audience, your name and your grade?
My name is Gabriel Coletta. I am a senior.
Coletta. How do I know that name? Does your mom work in the district?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So she's going to definitely see this. So, okay. All right. You got this. So the question I have for you is similar to my previous guest. And so when you got the news that you were going to perform with Foreigner, describe that feeling to us.
It was very surreal in the moment. As somebody who's like listened to Foreigner for a while, it was like very exciting. And when we found out in class, it was just, I was overly joyed. I'm like, oh, I actually get to perform on stage
Okay.
with a famous band. And I'm not even out of high school yet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so describe the community's reaction, like, from your mom, from others in the community. Describe their reaction when they found out you were going to sing with Foreigner.
So I've been posting like vote for us, and then
Yeah.
I know a lot of my family, a lot of my friends, and my friends' parents have been voting. And then when we all found out that Harlem was going to do it, it was just like a communal joy that we were all sharing. There was a lot of cheering, clapping, high-fiving, and everybody was like, congrats! I can't wait to see you guys perform. This is going to be awesome. And it was just awesome.
Absolutely. And so the night of the performance, you're on stage. I don't know, how big the audience was, but explain that situation a little bit. Take the audience into that.
It was a big audience. I was looking at ticket sales,
Okay.
and it was like almost sold out. There was like a couple tickets left on the floor, but it was a giant audience. And then when we were performing on stage, just looking out to the audience, and they're singing along with the song or video recording or just like pointing at us and waving. It was a very amazing experience, and it just made the whole thing go amazingly.
Okay. All right. And so when you think of, going back to that night, after you were on stage and you were singing with Foreigner and now it's done, explain that feeling a little bit.
I'm a little sad that we're not performing with them anymore. It was just like such an amazing night. Like that was my first concert as well. So it was a memory that I'll hold on to forever. And it's a little sad that we're not going to be performing with them again, but it gives me hope for the future. If I ever want to perform with bigger named artists, or if I just want to perform in general. Okay.
So if you had an opportunity to do karaoke or anything like that, you wouldn't be nervous, huh?
Oh yeah.
Just jump right in and do that. That's cool. So let's your favorite Foreigner song before you go.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's a tie between Feels Like the First Time and
got a tie. Okay.
Waiting for a Girl Like You. Those are my top two. I love them so much.
All right. And so for anyone that wants to one day be in that position, the same position that you were in, what advice would you give them?
Just work hard, practice, enjoy every moment in like your music, because you never know where it's going to lead you and it's going to take you to. So just keep having fun with your music, because it's going to take you great places.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you. And thanks for being on and sharing your experience with us. All right, welcome back. And so now we have our music teacher here to kind of bring all of this into a full circle moment. You had two of our students who performed, did a really good job explaining their experience. And so now for those who do not know you, which I don't think there's a whole lot of people in the Harlem community that don't know you, but if you give your name and then how long you've been at Harlem. Just actually name, position, and how long you've been at Harlem.
My name is Jeremy Toledo. I'm the choir director at Harlem High School. This is my 5th year at Harlem.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome. And so with that whole Foreigner experience and going through the process, for you to get the kids on stage, can you briefly just explain that from start to finish?
Sure. A parent shared a link with me on Facebook, and knowing that I'm a big fan of rock music myself. So as soon as I saw that, it was, oh yes, like we are definitely putting our hats in the ring for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I think I annoyed the kids a lot with the audition video. I was like, we're doing this, we're doing it again tomorrow, we're doing it again.
Yeah.
So we decided we wanted to do it with the fog on the stage and put our rope, do the whole thing, because we wanted a video that we would be proud, to showcase and everything. But yeah, and then something I really want the kids to kind of note too is how much community support that they have. Yeah. It wasn't just a couple of friends. I mean, our district really rallied behind us, and we appreciate that very much. And so because of that and all that community support, we were selected, which was super exciting.
Absolutely. And so from your take, obviously being our music teacher and getting the kids prepared, for that, just talk to the audience a little bit about your experience.
So kind of what they said, this group, so it was Corliers was the group that we took. Okay. And they are, they're constantly working on, some pretty difficult repertoire throughout the year and such. So kind of joining and singing a melody on a pop song or a rock song, they were pretty on it pretty quick. Okay. And so so then what I really liked about them and I was really proud of them for was at the concert itself, there's no practice with Foreigner. There was no staging with them beforehand. It was, all right, guys, you're going to be on the stage at this time. Okay. Be ready. Right. And the first time that they sung with Foreigner was the actual performance.
Wow. So what I actually saw online was their actual performance. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, they handled themselves the whole night just professionally.
Absolutely. Awesome. Any feedback did you get from the band afterwards about the kids?
Not too much. We got we got a couple thank yous, and of course the guy who kind of helped us on and off stage was excited for us and everything. But
all right. So is there any plans to either do something like that again or any upcoming Corlier performances that the audience can see?
Sure. Well, it's funny you say that because this is one of those things I've been teaching. This is my 19th year teaching. Okay. Definitely the first time having an experience like that, and so I did tell the students, especially the newer students, of saying, okay, like, I've set the expectation very high for you now, but this is a once in a lifetime thing enjoy it because I don't know if it's going to happen again. I think the last time it happened in this area was 2018. Wow. Maybe, but okay. Yeah. But we definitely will try again every time. Getting them. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I lost my thought.
No, you didn't. They're really good, and so that was a once in a lifetime kind of experience. Mm-hmm. Any upcoming performances for the Corliers?
We have our fall concert a week from tomorrow. Okay. On the 7th of October.
7th of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've been busy doing their ILMEA prep and everything. So it's fun. As soon as we start the year, they're off running.
Yep.
Okay. So year 5 in Harlem School District, and so what I want to ask you this, and kind of the final question is, what is your favorite memory so far?
Oh man. Oh, that's a hard.
Because you've done a lot.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I don't know. I mean, you're constantly seeing successes of kids, and you're seeing growth, and you're seeing, where, on a Monday night of a tech week of our musical, there's tears in the audience because they're freaking out, and then they put on an amazing show on the weekend, and you see so many of them do so many great things. It's impossible to choose a favorite.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for all that you do for our kids and our community, and specifically putting our students in a situation where they can sing with a band and remember that for probably the rest of their lives. And so thank you. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our first part of the first podcast of the year, and we have part two with she's familiar to the podcast. We had her on last year, but I'm going to have her tell you guys her name again and where she's from, the organization.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Dr. Yarbrough. I love being here. My name is Mary McNamara Bernsten, and I am the executive director over at the Rockford Area Arts Council. Mm-hmm. And so that is it's a regional arts council, and so we're an umbrella group that looks over 4 counties, actually. So we have Ogle and Boone and DeKalb, with Winnebago being our urban hub and city center for all arts and culture.
Awesome. So welcome back.
Thank you.
And so I really wanted to have you on again, specifically to kick off, our podcast episodes. There's some exciting things that you're now working on within Rockford. If you want to tell the audience about that.
Yeah. So we last year we finished something called the Rockford Region Cultural Plan. Okay. And the cultural plan ended up being really a strategic plan for arts and culture. So sometimes when you hear about strategic plans, you get a little snoozeville, and it's not so exciting. And they tend to sit on a shelf or like in a file in your computer.
They're necessary but exciting.
They're necessary but not terribly exciting.
Right, yeah, there you go.
But this particular plan, because it's for arts and culture, is really exciting, and it brings in all sorts of agencies and individuals from around the region to participate. So just last week, we had something called the State of Culture. So we're all familiar with, like, the mayor did a State of the City address. The president does the State of the Union address and sort of gives you like a temperature check. Where are we? Where are we going? What does the next year hold? That kind of thing. So last week, we had a State of Arts and Culture. Okay. And it gives an idea to people of how this cultural plan is being used and the different types of people and agencies that are involved. So we had, like, the City of Rockford, we had the Community and Economic Development Director talk, and she talked about how we used the cultural plan to get a state-designated cultural district right downtown, just south of City Center at South Main, all the way to Barbara Coleman. Okay. And so what a cultural district is, we're all familiar with them when we go to Chicago, New York, any kind of big city, and they've got Chinatown, or they have, a Scandinavian village, or any place where they've sort of got a cultural feel and a cultural identity. That's what we're going to have there. And so it really offers the city an opportunity to sort of create a template so that we could then have different designated identities all over the city, and really not just the city, but the region. So that was kind of cool. We heard from Sarah Lies from the city. We heard from Danielle Potter from the Rockford Park District, also a regional agency. And she talked about how they're talking with the Arts Council and other artists about putting more art in their parks. Okay. The 2 priorities that they hear of from residents is more art and culture in their parks, which is really exciting. Absolutely. And kind of a no-brainer for us. So the cultural plan gives them an idea of how they can do that. It's kind of a roadmap. Okay. So we heard from Danielle there. We heard from an artist, Vic Rivera, talked about just feeling like he's at the table, feeling like he's part of the discussion, which I think was not the case, in years past. Yeah. We heard from other people. We heard from Dave Costello from the Ice Hogs. Okay. Super great guy, and talked about how they're using arts to get a new audience. So he actually had 3 hats last year, the last 2 years, designed by artists at the Ice Hogs game. Okay. So if you came and you were the first 2,200 people to walk in the door, you got an Ice Hogs hat, but it was designed by a local artist. That's awesome. It was really cool. Yeah. And so, there are just different ways that they're trying to incorporate more creative things to have people enjoy themselves, but also they're incorporating more artists to get a new audience. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's great. And so when I think of what you just said, right, and I think of driving around Rockford and seeing like local artists, just their work, right? Yeah. How is that, from the audience, how would that look, right? Like when you talk about more arts in the park, things like that, what's the vision for that? Yeah, I think when you go to a city that doesn't have a vibrant arts community, it might be easier to describe that first. Okay. Yep. But you might see vacant buildings might be more apparent. Okay. You might see less foot traffic. You might see people kind of going from A to B with kind of no interest in looking around.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yes.
so the kind of the opposite of that in a vibrant arts and culture community, and something that I think we really do have, and not just downtown Rockford, but you can see it happening all over the region. But you have increased foot traffic. You have people walking from place to place, talking to each other, picking up a cup of coffee, taking their time.
Right.
Maybe stopping into that little shop that's their doors are open, that kind of thing. I think you see a little bit more of a vibrant nightlife. So, we're still working on those pieces, but getting something happening every single night that's live is really important to that culture and building that. Because, you and me with kids, it's not always easy to go out on a Friday night. You got stuff to do. You've got performances and games and matches, and the next morning you got to wake up early. But maybe a Tuesday night's a nice date night. What are you going to do?
Right.
Is the local bookshop open, where you could go in at the independent bookstore and check that out, go to eat somewhere? Is there a show? Can we see some jazz? Can we see, is there some kind of trio playing? That kind of thing. So, balancing out with the big groups like the symphony, certainly worth going. And they actually have a new deal. All kids from 5 years old to 18 years old get to see the symphony for free this season.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
No,
please,
that's big. Yeah.
it's huge. And we should encourage, I'll send some information for Harlem students
absolutely.
because it's incredible. I mean, it's such an opportunity. And symphonies are one of those things where they grow on you. You sit there at first and you think, oh man, this could get kind of long. I'm kind of thirsty. My leg is uncomfortable. You're switching around. And then all of a sudden you're really kind of engrossed and you're taking in. Each instrument has this voice, and then they take turns, these voices, and then they're all playing together, and it's this choir of things. It starts to pull you in, and we've got this awesome new director. So I just think there are things happening with the big organizations, but we want to make sure that undercurrent of just daily stuff is happening.
And being exposed to things like that, if you haven't been before, I think is just awesome. Having that opportunity to do those things. That's good.
That young man sitting right here talking about the Foreigner concert, and that was formative. And I don't know if he, was thinking of that word, but that was a formative experience for him. Yeah. He is forever changed.
Exactly.
Right? And he forever thinks anything might be possible. Right? Like he did that.
Yes.
And that teacher did that, which is just super cool.
Yeah.
And music has, any kind of performing arts is really, they say is the most transformative because you're part of it. You're sharing that experience and just being here with you. This is a real thing. We're really doing this,
Yeah, and I want, for me personally, like I want Rockford to be viewed in that light, right? Like when you talk about foot traffic and being able to support small businesses and being drawn to an area, like I want that, right? Yeah. And so I'll give you a real quick, me and my wife and my daughter went to Toronto. And we really went. It's beautiful. So if you ever get the chance to go, but what drew us to Toronto was first we're Drake fans. We love Drake, and we wanted to go. Me and my daughter, so we wanted to go to the OVO store and things like that. But there was a something called the Graffiti Alley. And so just what artists did was they would paint just different murals on the side of buildings, whether they were abandoned or not. But it was just beautiful. But as you're walking, we had the opportunity. You can visit a small business, or you had a ice cream, truck like out there. But it was just that area. It was just awesome. And I saw just tourists just walking around and
there's
enjoying
a safe vibe.
Yes,
there's
safe
a cool
vibe. It was
vibe.
good. Yes,
you're in the right place. You're doing the right thing.
Yep. And you wouldn't even think that in the alley because it was called Graffiti Alley. Yeah. So you're actually in the alley and you're walking there, but it was we never felt like we wasn't safe or anything like that. And the people around us were great as well and enjoying it, and we could tell. And there's pictures that I'll send you, to my daughter just taking poses and things like that. And so that's my hope. Fun. So I hope that comes to fruition. So
especially just speaking to youth because of your job and your role. Youth who are involved in the arts, and we may have talked about this last time, they are 5 times more likely, no matter what the experience is, they're 5 times more likely to stay in school and not drop out. Yeah. They're 2 times more likely to complete college. And then they're 78% more likely to vote. So when you think about a kid being exposed to the arts, you're talking actually about an engaged citizen in the end. And no matter who they're voting for, no matter what the political party they're interested in, it doesn't matter. They're an engaged citizen who's aware and interested and curious, Yeah.
And I see that with our 2 students who were on before you. Like I know that they're just going to go on and just do some great things because of the exposure of the arts and things of that nature. And so, well, thank you. And so is there anything else you want to share with the audience before you go? I know we talked about the Armory a little bit and what you're doing. I don't know if you're ready to share that with the
I could share a little bit.
Okay.
The Armory is located, for those who may not know, right down by the Discovery Center, the Art Museum, the Rockford Dance Company, that Riverfront Museum Park. And we hope it to be someday a civic cultural center. So really a gathering place. And before the BMO was the BMO, it was called the Metro Center. And that was our big, civic center. That's where concerts take place and games and Globetrotter visits and, that kind of thing, high school graduations. But before the Metro Center, it was at the Armory.
Okay.
And so it's almost a return, but now a return into a much more culturally relevant space and time. And so that's the goal for that, and that's in the works. We certainly we're just about to start environmental remediation contracts, taking those contracts in and then awarding them.
Okay.
It'll take about a year and a half to clean that place up, to get it ready to just start developing. And then that's another chunk of money we've got to come up with.
Gotcha.
So one thing at a time, Dr. Yarbrough. But I think the real message from me and from the arts community to your audience is try to schedule things that you may not think you would enjoy. Say yes when a friend asks you to go to a poetry reading. Take your kid to the Free Symphony this season. Kind of put yourself in a position to do things that you may not do, because I think with those new experiences, you're having experiences with new people.
Right.
And then you're also growing.
Yeah.
And, when we grow, that young man, and I didn't hear the young woman, but when you grow as a person, it's almost like everyone around you can't help but grow, because when you change, everything around you changes.
Absolutely.
And so, you're the only one you can control. So I like that idea of, get somewhere new, do something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. And thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, it's
and
always
sharing
a
your
pleasure.
perspectives with us. And so thanks again. Our first episode, had a blast, like always, and hopefully you will continue to tune in. And one thing new for this year is that we did put out a survey to the community. So if there's any podcast type topic that you have and you want us to present here, please go online and fill that out, and we're willing to do that as well. And so like always, thanks for tuning in. I am Harlem. You are Harlem. We are Harlem. Take care, everyone.